All right, so once again, I introduce you to a new concept called time value of money. Time value of money. So all what you're trying to say is that the monetary value changes over time with respect to time. Changes with respect to time. So please increase your data and buy more data to get this concept clear. Now, with the time value of money, all what you're trying to say is that as soon as right now, you see, the time is moving from morning to evening to another morning to another evening in that order. Any money that you have, the value keep on change. So it's a concept that we have to appreciate. Concept that we need to appreciate very well. Time value of money. A concept that when you really appreciate it, it's an interesting game. Now, to go deeper into the storyline, whenever we say that time value of money, there are various factors that causes money value to change over time. So let's list some of the factors. So here I'm going straight to the point. Factors influencing time value of money. Most of the factors are in the form of risk and uncertainty. You are not too sure. You are not too sure about it. Risk and uncertainty. Okay, so let me go straight. Now, when you say time value of money, we talk about the factors that affect it. You see, you make an investment before you can earn a return. And all these, the risks associated. So the higher you go, the longer the duration, the risky the project, and it reduces the value or it affects the value. So risk and uncertainty usually affect money value. If I want to be very truthful, if someone tell you that accept 1,000 Ghana cedis now, your uncle said accept 1,000 Ghana cedis now, or the next 5 years, in fact, he will buy you a car. Which one will you accept? 1,000 Ghana cedis now or 5 years car?
1,000 Ghana.
Why? But car, The next 5 years, you can't use 1,000 Ghana to buy the car they promise you.
The next 5 years, there's no assurance that he might raise money to buy that car.
Okay, so it's not assurance that your uncle will give you the car. In fact, he may change his mind that I'll not give me. I said it. I'll not give it again. I'd rather give you money, 2,000. Yeah. So when you go deeper into the story, things changes along the line. There will be another COVID that will come down that nobody should even drive again. No one should drive. And now the car becomes useless. So at least as at now, today, I am sure that this 1,000 Ghana is mine. But that car, even if it's worth, let's say, 200,000 cedis, is still, because the risk that's attached to it is very high. So all this affects time value of money. Now, let me go specific. You can have what you call inflation, can also affect time value of money. Inflation. Who can explain inflation for me? Inflation. What is inflation? Inflation affecting time value of money. Inflation simple means persistent increase in price without equivalent increase in production. So anytime price increases without an equivalent increase in price, that equivalent increase in production. So third example, that it is the persistent increase in general price levels without an equivalent increase in production. So please, inflation only exists when price increases. That's why if you ever understand inflation in a native way, in a local way, they say inflation is what? More money chasing fewer goods. So in other language, more money chasing fewer goods. So that is inflation. But if there are more money chasing more goods, it will never cause inflation. So anytime price is being increased and we also increase production, inflation reduced drastically. Prices will come down when production goes up, because there will be more goods in town for sale. So it will be like the little goods that we have, we are going to overprice them. So that is how inflation works. How does inflation cost money? Inflation normally devalues money. It makes money something small. Now look at it. All of us in Ghana, to be realistic, some few months ago, when I hold 1 Ghana cedi, I can comfortably drink 5 sachets of water. You remember? Previously, when I hold 1 Ghana cedi, it can buy So when I hold 1 Ghana cedi, it will get me 5 sachets of water. 5 sachets. 5 sachets of water. I can easily get it and drink. By now, how many can it buy? It can buy 5 sachets of water. But now, as at now, today, the same 1 Ghana cedi, if I hold, maximum water I can drink on the street of Accra is just 2 sachets. So because when price increase, we were still producing the same that we have. Because we are still producing the same sachets of water, the bags. So at the end of the day, when price increases, only few goods available. So, and it will continue to increase and increase. And a time will come, 1 Ghana cedi cannot even buy 1 sachet of water. This is not a prophecy. This is eternity. It's something that is born to happen. 1 Ghana cedi cannot even get you ordinary water to drink. Sachet one to drink due to what? Inflation. So it reduces the basket of goods you can buy. Inflation reduces purchasing power. It reduces your purchasing power from 5 sachets up to 2. Yes. Now, as you can see, so you can calculate the changes. So now, find a change. 3/5 times 100. What do you get? 3/5 times 100. So the change is what? Around 60%. So there has been a 60% decrease in the goods I can buy with the same money. So consumer price index with the same money, with the same what? Money. Over here, the price is 0.2. Over here, the price is 0.5. So divide 0.2 3, it has increased by 0.3. Divided by 0.2. So the price index has increased much more than 100% within this short while. It has increased much more than what? 100%. It has doubled. 20 pesos has now become 50 pesos due to inflation. And that is what we are trying to see. Again, interest rates. Again, delay in payments. Delay in payments. Delay in payments. You owe some 1,000 Ghana cedis today, and you pay the person in 3 months. You see, whatever the person can use this 1,000 Ghana cedis to pay, to buy. Maybe the person is having a dream shoe that won't use the 1,000 cedis to buy. Exactly 3 months later, when you present the same 1,000 Ghana to the person, he cannot buy the dream shoe or the basket of goods. So it causes money value to change. And that is why banks take advantage of that and charge interest. I'm done. To talk about time value of money, we are interested in interest rates. So now our topic is now centered on interest rates. Our topic is centered on interest rate. And again, when you mention interest rate, it's just compensation on what? On capital. You see, return on labor is wages. Return on entrepreneur is profits. What about return on capital invested? That is the interest. So interest is a return on capital invested. Interest is a return on a capital invested. That's all. Now, the interest you're talking about, there are 2 types of the interest. So the types of interest, there are basically 2 types of interest. One, we have the simple interest and compound interest. Now, with a simple interest, the interest is only on the principal. Just take notice of that. The interest is computed, is calculated only on the initial principal. Unlike the compound interest, yeah, the interest is computed on the initial principal. Initial principal plus all previous interest plus previous interest. So that's why you say compounding. Let me see if I can find some formula for you under the simple interest. So we can have I, interest rate per year for 1 year, interest rate per year. So I'll call it I is equal to the I, let's call it the I times the P, where I is the rate, I is the annual rate, whilst the P is what? P is the principal. P is equal to the principal. Now, the we also have total interest for the period, total interest. Total interest for the period. So I can call it TI. That one is equal to the I DPT. The T is the number of years. That's all. So you just have to, again, finally, the amount or the balance is always equal to the principal plus the total interest. So take notice of the formula. At this stage, no examiner will worry you with this, so I don't also worry you. But let me put just 2 illustrations for you to see how it could be done, how simple interest can be calculated. So for simple interest, for example, if a man invested, if a man invested 40,000 on 1st of October 2016 for 3 years. At 10% simple interest rates. At 10% simple interest rates. Stop. Require. Determine determine the interest rate in 2016 All right, so now the issue has to do with this. So first of all, in 2016, what will be the interest? And then determine the interest and amount. So let me just put a solution here. Let me pull out a formula. Tell the examiner that interest for that particular year, 1 year, they never said total interest. That one is equal to the I, that's the interest rate, the rate, times the principal, comma. I in this question is 0.1. And the principal here is equal to how much the guy invested? 40,000. To find the interest. But for 2016, the investment was made when? Was made on October 2016. So October 2016. So for the entire 2016, the year will end December. So definitely you will end only October, November, December. So 3 month interest. So yes, we factor time apportionment. So therefore you have interest is equal to 10% times the 40,000 simple interest. I've seen how simple it is because it's a simple interest. Times 12 out of 3 out of 12. Now, if my memory will set me right, dot 1 times 40,000, 1, 2, 3, times 3 out of 12. That'll give us 1,000 for that particular period. I'm done. So 3 months is 1,000. Now in 2017, that will be a full year. So the interest will be just the 0.1 times the 40,000, and that will give us 4,000. So that will be 4,000. In 2018, it will also be what? Interest should also be 4,000. Yeah. Now in 2019, it will last for only 9 months because they are going for 3 years. So in that case, it will be, you can just multiply the 4,000 by 9 out of 12. If the whole year is 4,000, 9 months will be how much? So that should be 3,000. Now, what will be the total interest? The total interest, method 1. You can decide to sum up all the interest. So it will be 1,000 plus 4,000 plus another 4,000 plus 3,000. That'll give us 12,000. Or you can also say that the total interest is equal to 0.1 times 40,000 times 3 years. You get the same 12,000. The rest of the stories are not that necessary. The second part of the question, they made a withdrawal of 5,000. You take it off. Please don't worry about it. Now take this question as your trial work. Man took a certain amount of loan from the bank. And paying a total sum of 50,000 cedis after 5 years. At a rate of let's say 8%. Full stop. Calculate the amount the man took from the bank. Full stop. We are done. So please try this one for me. Try out. Now the compound interest is not like that. So let's start the compound interest. That is where your focus should be on. Compound interest. Now with the compound interest, this one basically we are charging interest on an interest, like double tax compound interest. The interest is calculated on an interest. So that is how that one also works. Now, that particular one, for example, imagine you invest 1,000 Ghana cedis. So, example, if 1,000 cedis is invested at 8% for 3 years, determine the total amount and the interest end. Determine the total amount. So solution. So let's start. Year 1. So you see, let's apply our simple interest rate. Year 1, it will be 1,000 times the 8%. 0.08. So if one must get 80 or 80, that should be 80. All right, so 1,000. That should be 80 Ghana. Let's go to year 2. In year 2, the same 1,000 will end. In fact, over here, you add the first interest to it before multiplying by 0.8 because it's compounding. So as and when we are going, we are adding the previous interest to it. So that is why we are going. So we are getting 86.4. Then the third one will be this one also plus all the interest. So 1080 plus 86.4 now times 0.08, and that will give us so 1080 plus 86.4. Now times 0.8. So I'm getting 93.312. Now, find the total amount for me. So you can get total interest. So what's the total interest here? The total interest should be plus 86.4 plus 80. So you get 259.7. 259.712. That's the total interest. Let's find for the amount. The amount we lend, we say is equal to principal plus total interest, which is equal to 1,000 plus what's the interest? 259.72. 259.712. This is called compound interest. So 1,259.712.
Target, please go to the other screen before this one.
All right. So when you say compounding, this is how the compounding means. Now, going deeper the storyline, what if I give you 44 years? So are you going to do this 1, 2, 3 up to year 44? Which sheet, which examination time will it permit you? So that doesn't mean that they will not even ask you 44 years in the exams. They can even ask you 60 years. What if in a year they pay interest like 3 times or twice, and you are going for 50 years? So that'll be above 100 years old. So there are complexity in reality. So we are incorporating this into the story. So we are incorporating this into the story. So hence, it calls for a formula. And I want everyone to take notice about the formula. Now, this formula that we are going to quote here is going to run through all your, in fact, I call it the foundational formula. It looks very small, but it has produced a lot of formulas. So now we call it future value. Other people call it amount or amount. Another name is called amount. Is equal to the principal into bracket 1 plus. I want I. I will use I for now. All divided by n. I'll take my time to illustrate what each of them means. But before that, let's substitute and see whether we get the answer. 1,000 into bracket 1 plus 0.08 to the power 3. Let's do the mathematics together. So if you're doing this mathematics, what do you think will be the answer? What do you think will be the answer? Okay, so let me do this here. So you get 1,000 times 1,000 times 1.08 to the power 3. This, what do you get? You get 1,000 to, can you check it? 59.712. So that is the answer. So tell us that if I want 300 years, I should just write it like this. The answer will come. I shouldn't be doing it 300. So all right, so that is it. I'm done with the storyline. Good. Now, let me go and take my time and explain the formula for you. The formula goes beyond this. Yes. You may be asked to make any of the formula the subjects. Now let me take my time to explain the formula. We say future value or amount AN is now equal to the PV into bracket 1 minus, normally write it I like this, to the power n. Good. Now this formula, comma, where future value or the amount is equal to, it's called future value or amount. Let me write it in full. Future value and amount. That's right. To represent the total value of the principal, put the same as value today, the principal after all interest has been calculated. All interest has been calculated. All interest has been calculated. And n number of period. And n number of period. And after n periods. So the A is the future value after interest has been calculated. So when we finish calculating interest, what is the future value? So that is how we do it. That is how we do it. All right. Where PV or the present value that's number one. Number two, present value. Also known as value today. Equal to the amount need to be invested now in order to earn the future value or the amount after end periods. That's all. Number three, the most important things are the one I'm coming to explain. How do I get this? The most important thing is this, the I and then the N. That is what is very important. The I is equal to the rate, the period. Rate per period. it is rate per period. Now it is equal to the R, capital R. So I is also equal to capital R over K, where R is equal to the annual interest rate. Interest rate. That is it. Annual interest rate. That is the R. Failure to understand annual interest rates, where K is equal to number of times interest calculated within a year. Number of times interest is computed or compounded or calculated within a year. Within a year. These are the only difficult issue in here. If you get this clear, within a year. Number of times interest have been calculated. Now, let me test you small. You see, the whole year, we can decide to calculate interest 1, K will be 1. So when, for example, let me give examples here. For example, if interest is compounded annually, if interest is compounded annually, comma, K will be equal to 1. Because the whole year, how many times we calculate interest? It's 1. Compounded annually is 1. Now, let's go. Let's do more. What if interest is compounded? I've done annually. Let me do semi-annually. K will be what? K will be what? Semi-annually. In that case, K will be equal to 2. Because there are 2 semi-annual in a year. It's also the same as compounded every 6 months. So compounded interest is compounded every 6 months. That's another name. Every 6 months. So within a year, how many 6 months do we have? Of course, we have 2 of the 6 months in a year. Simple. Straightforward. Now, what if I tell you that interest is computed or calculated every quarter or quarterly? How many quarters do we have in a year? K will be equal to what? 4. We have 4 quarters. In other language, interest is compounded every 3 months. How many 3 months do we have? How many 3 months do we have in every 3 months? And then that is all. Now, every 3 months, that means there will be 4 of them. Now, compounded every 4 months. He'll be what? Tell us. Just guess it. How many 4 months do you have in a year? If I should share the year's months,
Right.
I'll get what?
3.
9.
3.
Okay, that'll be 3. So we'll take that. That's all. What if it's compounded weekly? Is equal to what? 52. Finally, compounded daily. Is equal to what? 365. So that is that. Let's all take notice of that. All right. Now I'm done. So imagine the whole, I give you, let's say, R to be annual rate. The annual rate is, let's say, 20%. And I say compounded quarterly, what will be I? So imagine I gave the R, the annual rate is 20%. And I say compounded quarterly. Then the I will be equal to the 0.2 here divided by compounded quarterly. So how many quarters do we have? 4 quarters. That's all. So 0.2 divided by 4. So that is what we have to use. 0.2 divided by what? 4. That will give us 0.05. All right, so now let me go to the last one, which is the number 4. Don't forget, I'm continuing. There are 4 items I'm talking about. If you know this formula very well, you can be able to maneuver your way through. There's a particular question called a series. Yes, that book is very good. It contains questions and I've solved them. So pick that series and you go through all the questions in it. All right, so now the number 4 talks about the N. Please, the N is not number of years. It's called number of periods. Number of periods. Number of periods. All right, so now number of periods. When you say number of periods, it is not saying that a number of years. No. You see, I've shown you the period. The period can be in years, annual, no problem. The period can be in semi-annual, 6-month periods. The period can be every 3 months for quarters, every 4 months, 3, weekly, daily. These are the periods. So if you assume that the periods are in years, fine, no problem with that. If the question says so. So take notice. Now to get a period, N is equal to the K times T. You know K already, where T is equal to number of years. And the K is the number one we know. That's all. K is the one that we just look at it together. All right, so I'm done. So there's a question that I'll give for you for practice. I don't know where I can get you do, but let me check on your portal. Where can I get these questions? Where is it coming from? All right, so I'll find out if that particular questions are here. If they are not here, I will upload them and give you a copy right away. Let me see if I can do that right now. So let me bring it up and then we see. All right. Now I'm uploading it soon now so that you get a copy of what I'm talking. Now questions I've solved them, they are good. All right, so well, all right, so let me pull it up right now. Oh, now I have what I'm looking for. All right, so now let's go straight to this particular section. It's a question called the series. This is what I want everyone to look at for. Okay, so let's try and do question one. A man invested 2,500 in a rate at the rate of 18% compounded monthly.
I have a target. I'm struggling to hear you.
All right, so now what we are trying to do is this. So I'm going to open the same material on a different software which I can easily write on it. Let me go. All right, so we are solving the entire question one. And then we will, maybe I'll provide insight to it. You complete it for me. Then I go. Now, when you say a man invested 2,500, invested at the rate of 18%, compounded monthly. So if you compounded monthly, K will be what?
Oh.
So now that is it. So please, here for 3 years, you got your formula. That N is equal to P into bracket 1 plus I, comma, we know the P already, 2,500. then the I is equal to, let me make it, sorry, I is equal to, I is the annual rate. The annual rate is 18%. This divided by, you see, you divide the interest rate by the number of times compounded, is 12. This one is over 12. Because if it's compounded monthly, the whole year, how many months do you have? 12. That's all. Now let's go. When I divide 0.18 by 12, I'll get a rate per period of 0.18 divided by 12. I'm getting something like 0.015. 0.015. Now you put everything together, you get principal of 2,500. Left with the n. N is equal to k times years. All right, so let me go to the board and do it using the board. So on board, I'm doing illustration, question 1. You got a formula that future value or amount. All right, so let's go p into bracket 1 plus I to the 1, comma. Rate is equal to 0.18 over 12. That's equal to 0.15. And it's got how many? They said 3 years. Let's go and confirm. So it'll be 3 years. Let's go and confirm the years. No, that's 3 years. Yeah, 3 years. The first one is 3 years. Okay, so let me do the computation here. All right, so if I do one, also do some, and this material is on your digital page. You look at it and then you solve more questions. And it's not done with the one, you do the 1.5, 1 year, 2 years. Let's stop it. All right, so let's go. Okay, so that's the next one, 2.5 years, right?
Target. There's 6 point something you got. Is it correct?
Yeah.
Hey, we are getting 4,272.
Hey, in fact, I use a different calculator. Let's try using which calculator did I use? Let me see. Hey, I made it 69, it's true. 436. It's 4272.85. 4272.85. 4272.85. Now they can ask you to make any of these figures a subject. So let me do do 1.5 here. This one is half. Do 1.5 here. 1.5 here. That's the number C. Okay, so now on to an amount is equal to. Yeah, the only thing that will change is the n. All the other factors remain the same. So the n here is changing to k 12 times. The t is number of years. So how many years? So you see, they say 1.5 year, right? So in that case, say 1.5. I'm doing 1.5 year. So 1.5 year with what? All what you have to do is that you can decide to convert the entire period into months. 1.5 year means 1 year, 6 months out of 12. Multiply the 12 by 1, you get 12. So, or you can say 1.5. Or it will be 18 over 12. So 18 divided by 12. Or you get 18 months. So the PV is equal to bring back everything in again. So you get 1,000 is 2,500. This one is like a 1 plus 0.15.
Target, please, the end, will it be 12 by 1.5?
Yeah, so 12 times 1.5. That should give us 18.
Okay. You've done it 18 over 12, that's why I asked.
Yeah, it should be 18 because 1.5 year 18 over 12.
Okay.
So you get 3/6. Please have to finish this question. You can do 1 year, 9 months, so that become 9/12. Only the K will be changing. 9 months, the N becomes 12 times 9/12. So that will give us 9 months. Six months you can do. But when it says 17 months continuously, here there's no break. At least annual, monthly, you break for a while. This one, no break. So this is how we do that one too. So let me do the 17 months continuously. 17 months. In that case, please, we call it continuous compounding. Continuous. So that one, the future value is equal to the principal, natural number log of RT. So in this question, the principal is 2,500. E is equal to 2.72. Or you can calculate it yourself. If you check on the figure table, or use your calculator to point the E. Alpha Q plus refresh.
Okay, please come again. You said alpha what?
Yeah, I did not get that.
Okay, we call it natural number. Natural number E is 2.72. This one, if you check on your calculator and you punch the shift, and then there's a key. I'll show it to you during the base section. Or you can just maintain 2.72. You get the same answer on the calculator. Natural number E. And then the R here, we have to use the R. That's 0.18. No more compounding. Here with the bank compounding. It is continuous, doesn't break. Now the T will be what? Number of years, no more N. It says 17 months. Just divide 17 by 12. That's all. Leave your hands on it. That is year. Whatever month they give it to you, divide it by 12 months and see. All right, so now the E here, so now future value will be 2,500. You can still maintain the E and say that 0.18 times 17 over 12. That's all. This, if you punch everything on the calculator, the E will come up and then you get your answer. Basically, that is how we do it. So now you are doing question number 2 and 3. The solutions are in the book, but I still want your own. So write that off them now. And that's one. All right, so you get it right. Just like question solving and some few areas we have to look out for. That we are going to do. Yeah, so 3226. 3226. Good. All right, so now if you have a question, kindly ask.